Okay, this week's picks.
Well, no, before we get on to this week's picks, I got to rub it in. You went 5-0 week one. Ron came back down to earth last week, going 2-4. I went 3-3. I haven't even updated these on the site yet. It's a bit of a pain, but you know what? I'll update it. I know you're still, actually, we're tied now because you were one game up on me. I was 4-1 last week. So we just printed this off, and again, with our lives, we haven't been able to analyze this at all. So you're getting picks as they go. Again, I'll give you the option. You tell me to go first or you. Friday night, Colorado at Minnesota.
Colorado at Minnesota. Colorado's got a new coach. Mr. McMahon got let go the other day. Mr. Govett is running the whole show, according to the NLL site. At Minnesota. I don't think Colorado's got it. They're in turmoil. Yeah, Minnesota.
Yeah, I usually a change like that sparks a team, and I think it will. But again, as I said earlier, going on the road, unless you're a top team in the league, it's hard to pick you. Tough game. I'm going to go with Minnesota as well. Another game Friday night. Buffalo is at Washington.
Buffalo
0-2 Bandits at the 2-0 Stealth.
Buffalo at Washington. Man, oh man, well, they're traveling, holy smokes, right across the continent. Sleeping in a hotel bed. They'll probably draw a big crowd for these guys. They'll probably be pumping out of, the all-time leading scorer, John Tavares, Steenhouse. Buffalo, but only by like one.
Well, I'm sticking to it. I honestly, it feels weird coming out of my mouth to think that the Bandits are going to be 0-3, but Washington has not shown me any reason yet to not pick them, and they're at home. I'm going to go with Washington there. So we fly now to Saturday night. Colorado, after playing in Minnesota, goes to Philly. So 2 games on the road this weekend for Colorado.
Tired bunch of boys. Desperation, need to win, but they're not gonna. Philadelphia got really ticked off after losing Orlando that first week. I don't think they were happy with themselves, and they looked pretty good the other night there. So I'm going to pick the Wings at home.
And you know what? They got Boston on the tail end of a 2-game weekend.
Yeah.
I think the same thing happens again this weekend, and that right there I think would normally be a lot closer, tougher game for me to pick. 2 teams that haven't really impressed me a lot so far in the season, but the fact that Colorado played the night before, I'm going to go with Philly as well. Rochester at Toronto. Go. If we just skip right over that. You want me to go?
Yeah. Give me your reasons.
This is this is a real tough game. We're going to come back to that one.
Chicken.
Buffalo, yeah, absolutely. Buffalo at Edmonton. So Buffalo plays in Washington on Friday night. They go to Edmonton on Saturday night.
Edmonton's dead hungry. They're going to win.
So you're thinking the Bandits are going to go, oh no, you took them on Friday.
They're going to win the night before, but that's a long trip over the weekend. Jet miles and going out of airports, and Edmonton's hungry.
Okay, and I'm a fan. I mean, I was a fan last weekend of going the teams to go 2-0. I don't really want to sound like it, but I think Edmonton's going to take that one as well. Again, it's just really weird to say Buffalo could be 0-4 at the end of this weekend. Orlando at Boston on Saturday night.
Orlando, Boston, that's their only game of the weekend at Boston, eh? Oh, I think Orlando's too strong.
That's one that I think Boston's going to pull out, and the only reason I say it is
that one scares me.
Yeah, they've had a not that there's an easy schedule at all, and Orlando is a good team, but Boston is now in critical mode, going 0-4. As some of these other teams can potentially do this weekend. I'm going to take Boston.
You know what is going to come up? Who's going to stop Casey Powell? Who's going to stop Dan Dawson?
Right.
That's what it's going to come down to. So the best defense in that one will win. And
Cosmo versus Vince.
Oh, geez, Lou. That's why it's hard to pick. Orlando by a half. There's such a thing.
They don't have that in this game.
No.
You know what? I'm going to stick with Boston again. Home team, that's flip a coin. Go home team for me. The last game of the weekend, we will come back to the other one. Washington goes into Calgary.
That'll be a beauty.
I'll tell you, there's some good games this weekend.
Yeah, that's going to be a killer game. That one. Another holy. And they just play.
Washington plays Friday night against home against Buffalo.
So they got a day. The Roughnecks at home.
I'm going to actually switch it just because I want you and I to have differing opinions. I'm going to take Washington in that.
Okay.
Playing the night before, I don't like, but they are at home the night before. A little bit leg weary maybe, but we'll see what happens on that one. Back to Rochester at Toronto. You want me to go first?
Yeah.
John Grant versus Colin Doyle. This has historically been a very, very heated rivalry. What concerns me for Toronto is the firepower that Rochester has.
Yes.
And what concerns me for Rochester is the Toronto crowd and the emotion surrounding the game. What I'm going to do here, this is a really, really tough pick for me. I'm going to take the Rock, and the reason I'm going to take the Rock is I think that they're going to build on the emotion of last Friday night's win, and I think there's going to be a heck of a lot more people there this week based on that win. And I think because this has always been a heated rivalry anyway, even in the last couple of years when Toronto wasn't such a great team, they usually did okay at home against Rochester. It's in Rochester, they've struggled a lot.
Yeah.
I'm going to take them, but I won't be shocked if Rochester wins the game.
I'm going to pick, not because I work for them, I'm going to pick the Rock, and it's going to be real tight though. I don't know what to think. I haven't seen Sean Evans this year. He's always a factor in the game, and he likes playing at the ACC too because it's very close to home. It's going to be very, very interesting. But I've picked the Rock just with, that's
But the speed of the Toronto defense, if they're in their face and they're constantly badgering them, now mind you, when John Grant decides he's going to go to the net, unless you get a crane and put a hook around him, he's going to go to the net. But the speed of the defense could be a big factor in this game for Toronto, and if they can contain as best they can the offensive shooters for Rochester, you know what, they could win the game. And I think that's what they're going to try to do, is be in their face on defense like they've been doing the first two games.
Yep, I agree.
So that's pretty much going to wrap it up for this week. That's our fearless picks. Have you got anything else you want to talk about? Or?
No, just let's get into the game on Saturday night. All you good fans at ACC, help me out there when I shout out for you.
Yep.
Let's get some enthusiasm in the building. I know we can. This is a lacrosse crowd. It's not the hockey crowd, and let's shake the rafters at the ACC this Saturday.
How many games did you do last year?
3.
3? Mm-hmm. And we only had one. That was your only
Yep.
one. So you're 4-0 as an announcer. Apparently, I'm in the booth with you again this week. I saw the email. I did one last year with you, so I'm 2-0 as the assistant VP of whatever.
Big Mouth.
Yeah, assistant to Big Mouth Productions. Maybe that's a good. So so come on out, fans, and I'll tell you one of the things that we should just touch on. We were talking about it this week on the fan forum. There were some comments from people and stuff, and even on our site. We're going to get you a couple of catchphrases.
Yep.
You guys got any ideas out there? Fire them off to Ron. We don't want to imitate. With all due respect, I love in Buffalo. I can't remember his name now.
Sweeney or Sweeney.
Sweeney in Buffalo. I love the guy. But you know what? That's his thing, and he does a great job of doing that. Barks, God love him. When he was here in Toronto and out in Edmonton, he's got his shtick, and that's him. Let's come up with something for this guy.
Yeah.
He's not a very creative guy, so we need to help him.
Here we go.
No, you know what? No, we'll get some stuff.
Let's go T.O. Dum, 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 something like that. You know? Yeah, and just get the building just a lot of noise and get the guys, because the guys can hear it, and I know they really appreciate it.
Yeah. So, on behalf of Ron Messer.
Yeah, just don't drink and drive, because there ain't no chicks in jail, guys.
You're back to it again.
Yeah.
Gary Mark reminding everybody out there to stay safe, be good, and keep your stick in the air.